This is part 2 of my 2-part project on Joji's Nectar. See part 1 in the description below. When it comes to songwriting, Joji always starts with the instrumentals. He can never make any progress unless he can see the potential for a movie. With that being said, the music videos he has released have very clear clues connecting them together, creating some sort of universe, which have been dubbed the Jojiverse, with fans speculating the meaning and order of these videos. We first begin with the music video of Tock. Here we can see Joji as an everyday civilian exploring his neighborhood and the local 7-Eleven. There's not much to see here other than Joji looking like he's constantly down on himself and riding a cart that has been accessorized to mimic a rocket ship. Perhaps after much boredom with his regular everyday life, he begins dreaming of traveling to space, as we can even see him gazing up to it, leading us to the music video of Gimme Love. Here we begin with the fast-paced montage of Joji studying as a student to become a rocket scientist, finally deciding to pursue his dream of traveling to space. He eventually makes it to some organization specializing in such, starting as some lowly intern or mechanic before making it as some sort of manager heading the operations. In the intensely fast montage, we can see Joji's character is actually named Dr. Wallace, and he confirms it himself in an interview as well. Over time, we can see hints as to what the project Dr. Wallace is working on is about, with glimpses of the human anatomy and human subjects, as well as the sinister purple glow that lingers in the background, revealing to be some sort of chemical they are experimenting with. As Dr. Wallace and his crew continues to be exposed to this purple substance, they begin experiencing major side effects, with people losing their sanity, as we can see glimpses of Dr. Wallace breaking down, as well as a handcrafted stick being covered in blood, suggesting someone was stabbed. We can see further side effects as people begin bleeding out of nowhere from their noses and hands. We can even see that this material is hazardous and radioactive, as people can be seen wearing hazmat suits while handling it. Yet, Dr. Wallace himself handles it with no protective gear whatsoever. There has also been a removed video titled Joji Maps of Dr. Wallace explaining and showcasing a spacecraft with his hand also covered in blood. We make it to the second half of the video for Gimme Love, where we can see Dr. Wallace stealing the rocket ship and lifting off all on his own with the whole world watching, including the United Nations, suggesting that this mission was of global importance, perhaps because of an impending apocalypse possibly hinted by the many visualizers for Joji's music, showing lava and a seemingly deserted wasteland. Dr. Wallace's sense of rebellion is foreshadowed in the video teaser of Joji Nectar in 3 days, where he stumbles upon a group of scientists as though he wasn't supposed to see them meeting, which he then opens the folder, realizes something, and begins contemplating. In the end of Gimme Love, we see his character confronted with some sort of emergency which he has the choice of either ejecting or engaging. It's hard to say which he chose exactly, as we can see he leans to the farthest left to push a button, yet we still see him remaining in the capsule as he seemingly lands into another planet with a counter counting down in the background. We can assume that as he crash landed onto this foreign planet that he had been picked up by an alien crew, as we then make it to Sanctuary, seemingly years later, where we see Joji has adapted to this new intergalactic lifestyle, leading a team of aliens as the captain of this new ship. Throughout the video, it is revealed Joji and his crew had been battling with this brainiac villain in possession of this purple rock, which I will be calling the Nectar. This nectar was also shown off in Gimme Love. We know from Gimme Love that the nectar has some sort of effect on people around it. This leads to the many incidences seen in the video of people being influenced by it, such as Joji overpouring milk in his bowl of cereal as he gazes into the glow of the nectar. Perhaps it is also why the crew is seen in such a depressive state, besides the fact that they have no antagonist to chase after. The crewmate who has been trying to keep the rest of the crew together can also be seen in this entrancing state as he gazes at Joji with the nectar in view as well. The crewmate is soon revealed to have gouged out his own eye, yet again with the nectar in his presence, and as he escapes and begins attacking the ship. As the nectar has affected Joji, up next is the dream sequence of Run, as Joji has also confirmed this is a dream. We see his character running in this seemingly endless limo that continues to loop. Michael R. Olson, a research scientist on dreams and unconscious intelligence, explains that dreams that have repeated action over and over represents one's feeling of powerlessness when facing a challenge. It also represents the feeling of being stuck in life with no sense of progression or development. At the end of the video, we can see Joji waking up from his dream, alone in the spacecraft also seen in Joji Maps, confirming this spacecraft is from Earth. This spacecraft was likely a part of the same rocket ship he escaped in Gimme Love, as we can also see that these two ships are completely different judging from the design of the capsule. When walking around the spacecraft, we can see a hung photograph of the crew from Sanctuary, confirming for sure Run takes place after it. However, going back to Sanctuary, we know that Joji has been exposed to this nectar for a lengthy duration of time over the 1-year time skip. As we know the nectar has some sort of effect on the people around it, it is likely that Joji and his crew began to experience the side effects with their sanity breaking down, and Joji deciding it was best to either save them or himself by escaping in the spacecraft we are currently in. Also supporting the idea that Joji has been experiencing side effects is this nightmarish limo dream of Run. The glimpses of Joji breaking down and also chasing something in his dream, perhaps his sanity as he begins losing it due to the nectar. To further support the idea of him losing his sanity, he also looks at a picture of a car from Earth with keys in hand. He throws the picture and key away, as if he knows he'll never have a chance of returning to it. Next, we come to daylight, yet another dream sequence. We can further see the nectar infecting his mind, as he can't even seem to escape the purple glow of it in his dream, with the light seen in the background being purple. There isn't too much to the music video of Daylight until we come to the end, with Joji waking up from an absurd dream yet again. The idea of Run and Daylight being dream sequences are supported by the echoing voice repeating "Wake up Joji" as heard in these scenes that appear at the end.
Wake up.
He wakes up alone in a tent set up in a desert similar to the barren wasteland seen in Run. Perhaps what Joji was chasing in Run is the one thing that will bring back his sanity, and is also supposedly here on this barren wasteland we find ourselves in. We see Joji alongside some equipment as well, perhaps to find whatever it is he is searching for. The rebellious crewmate, more nectar, or maybe even his crew from Sanctuary, as we can also see him looking into the distance, waiting desperately for something to arrive. We can also see Joji planting a seed, possibly as a source of food or otherwise, as he'd been stranded on this barren planet for a long time. There are also the unofficial music videos of FTC and Pretty Boy, both of which feature the same exaggerated old men from Daylight, so we can assume these videos are also dream sequences. These old men are likely his dream's representation of the superiors in his life, as seen in Gimme Love, with the old man behind communications and an old lady staring in disbelief at the UN. There were also fragments of Joji's time at the space organization between the ID passes worn by the old men, the box with the UN logo, and the medallion he was awarded with. Lastly, that brings us to You're a Man, which confirms the fact that the world was indeed facing an apocalypse, as the locations the alien visits are abandoned and empty. Who these aliens are is still up in the air. Perhaps they are the causes of the apocalypse, or more aliens that have come in search of the nectar. Or possibly, the alien featured in the video could be the rebellious crewmate or Joji, mutated from the extreme exposure to the nectar. The one piece of evidence that could possibly support this is the sunken eyes and fractured skin of Joji as seen in Run, being similar to the alien. Nectar turned out to have a lot more to break down behind it than I expected, from the origins and creative process in the making of the album, its connection to Chloe Burbank, and the cryptic Jojiverse. Joji has been through a lot, breaking his past shackles of Filthy Frank to get to the position he is now, and it's definitely paying off, as Nectar has just landed as #1 for the Spotify charts in the US, surpassing over 500 million streams. He's grown a lot as an artist, and I can't wait to see what he has next.